Hey Gearheads, and welcome to Garage Talk, a discussion about all things automotive. I'm Corey.
And I'm Matt. And each week this podcast will serve as a catalyst for discussion on all sorts of topics that grind our gears, rev our engines, or just need a bit more conversation. And on this week's episode, we discuss all things automotive with the event coordinator of Corvette Invasion, which just happens to be the largest Corvette club in the state of Texas. He's also the co-founder of Sweet Rides of Central Texas, the one, the only, Shawn Jones.
You can find out more about Shawn and what he's doing at sweetridesoftexas.com and corvetteinvasion.com. You can find out more about Garage Talk, including our very first car show, and all the stuff that we're into by finding us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We're all at GT Garage Talk. Or you can head over to our website, gtgaragetalk.com, and you will have links to everything that we're into, including car news. But that's enough about us. Why don't we dive into this week's episode and welcome Shawn on? Well, Shawn, we are incredibly grateful for having you on with us this week, and just to talk about some of your ventures and things that you're into and started with. But first and foremost, why don't we dive in a little bit to your personal car history? High notes, low notes, just a little bit of detail about who you are and what makes up your car history.
Sure. Well, so about 10 years ago, I turned Magic 40. I entered that midlife crisis, like a lot of people do. So I went out and I bought me a Corvette, my first Corvette. And I immediately started going to car meets and cruises and parades and et cetera, just meeting all kinds of good people. I met a good friend of mine, Jason White, who's a big Mopar guy.
We can't all be perfect.
Yeah. And this is back when Facebook just started allowing people to set up those private groups. So we thought it would be fun to go in there and set up a car group and call it Sweet Rides of Central Texas. And we just add our car friends to it and, share about what car meets are going on and who do I take my car to have it maintained for this and that, different things. All vehicles. So the street rods, your trucks, motorcycles, exotics, anything, pretty much anything on wheels. So we put that group together and it's exploded. We're now like over 8,500 members in this one group.
Nice.
But it wasn't long after I created that group, me and Jason White, I joined a local Corvette club. And I went to a few of their meetings, and of course I was a little vocal at some of them, and for too long, they're sitting there like, I think you need to be our activities director. Not knowing what I needed to do as activities director, but I'm like, sure, why not? So I did that, and started creating events for the Corvette Club. Then one day I get a call from a gentleman by the name of Steve Pond, who's out of Houston with a local Corvette Club there in Houston. And he calls me up, said, hey, I would like to get our Corvette clubs together for, maybe a little dinner party. That changed everything.
Yeah.
I got my friend and fellow car club member, Elaine Prout, helped me organize the very first Corvette Invasion. And basically all that was just two Corvette clubs getting together for dinner. And that turned into about 300 Corvettes.
Wow.
So, yeah, that was back in 2013. We were at a nice little place. Well, I shouldn't say little. It's not little at all, but it's a place that overlooks Lake Travis here in the Austin area, the Oasis Restaurant. And like I said, they had all these amazing Corvettes out there, and we did that 2013, 2014, 2015. We had no more room. It was just all these Corvettes were coming in. I got a call from the Circuit of the Americas, which is the only F1 track in the country, and they had just not long ago had opened up their track, and they had reached out to us and said, why don't you come out and let your Corvettes come out and do a little parade lap.
Nice.
Wow.
Well, people, of course, jumped on that opportunity.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun. So the following year in 2015, my good friend Glenn Judice, he helped me get a lot of things, moving to the next level. And with Elaine's help. We moved it out to the Circuit of the Americas. We moved a big car show out there. We had parade laps. And I started getting phone calls and emails from really people from all over the world. At that point, we had people coming in from, I think in 2015, we had 18 or 19 states represented at the car show in 2 countries. So I had people from Mexico and Canada even.
That's crazy.
So they were just coming in from all over.
That's awesome.
And become the largest Corvette car show in the state of Texas now. So
everything's bigger in Texas, right?
That's right.
That's right. So last year, the city of Bastrop, they gave me a call. And they said, we would love to be your host city. We would love for you to bring these Corvettes to our community and have a car show here. So we did that, and we invaded the whole city of Bastrop and had everywhere you looked at, every red light, every convenience store, you name it. There was Corvettes all over the place.
Wow.
It was pretty cool. And we had a big car show there at the convention center. It's in July. It's hot. People say, why do you do it in July? The track is not an easy venue to just rent anyway. You're kind of on a waiting list if you can even, get the track. And July is the time that it's available. But we've been, continuing with that time of year. And but having the convention center in Bastrop is great because our vendors are inside, nice, air conditioned, very, comfortable environment. So people can come out, enjoy the vendors and talk with the car people and things. We still have our car show outside. Yes, it's still hot, but there's plenty of places for people to go and escape that heat.
Yeah.
Cool.
So we did that last year and just a huge success. We still have our experience at the track. In fact, we get a police escort from the convention center out to the Circuit of the Americas, which is about 22 miles.
Yeah.
And if you can just kind of vision looking in your rearview mirror and see nothing but Corvettes for miles.
Wow.
And
Sounds
being
wonderful.
Lit by the police, that's, pretty cool.
That's awesome.
So we go out to the track, we do parade laps, and we do it for 2 straight hours. So if you have you got a Corvette, you're literally just going round and around. They've got like 20 turns out there, so you're not just going in circles,
Right.
but still, they got an excellent facility, fun track. And so, we go out there for a couple hours and let people get their, taste of that. So they enjoy it.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So I'm a big Chevy guy. Camaro is my Chevy of choice, but obviously I love the Corvette. There's tons of history with the Corvette. And your story, just how you went from being an owner to just these crazy events where it truly is an invasion of Corvettes on Bastrop, Texas. And
Sure.
it's just proof positive of the love Americans have for America's sports car and the continued passion behind it. It's truly amazing to hear that, and I could only imagine the sight of seeing nothing but Corvettes as far as the eye can see.
It's incredible.
It's a pretty amazing, and I'm really hoping that somebody from Chevrolet hears this because I'd love for them to start sending me some checks.
Oh, yeah.
I know some people that literally they will go out. They have gone out and bought a Corvette just for this event.
Wow.
Well,
True story.
if I can
They
convince the wife,
They see this happening. And they're like, I got to do that. I've got to be a part of that.
That's awesome.
And I tell people it's almost a disease. I mean, you got it, and
Yeah.
there's no cure. You just got to.
So
But,
tell us a little bit about your personal Corvette.
So my personal Corvette, I'll go back to when I bought my first Corvette. It was a 2002. It was electron blue. If you can see the photo above me,
Yep.
that's actually my car out there on the track.
Awesome.
See if
So
I can help.
2002
Yep.
electron blue. Had that for about 8 years. And then I was asked by the National Corvette Museum to be their caravan captain for Central Texas. And they do this big event every 5 years where they have all these Corvettes basically go back home, as you call it, because it's all the Corvettes are manufactured there in Bowling Green.
Right.
And So I got the honor to be a part of this. And one of the things my wife asked me is like, "You're going to take that old thing to Bowling Green? You're going to drive it that far?" And I'll go, "Well, what do you suggest I do?" So I think you need something a little newer than that. I'm like, okay,
Let's
You've
go.
convinced me.
don't twist my arm here. So I went out and I bought a 2016 Z51 3LT package.
Nice.
It's a Laguna Blue.
Nice.
And my wife refers to that as stickers. And because I've got my decals on it, I've got the official pace car, I've got my dates for Corvette Invasion on there, and I've got a couple of my sponsors, Authentic Details. They sponsor my my car. They've got their new PPF, so the paint protection film, all over my car. And then my new sponsor, HD Motorsports, which is going to be handling most of my future mods and oil changes and all that good stuff. I've got their logo on my car, so yeah, I got to give those guys a good shout out.
Yep. And so that's the Corvette that's on your Facebook page, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. I'm curious how the C8 has rippled through this group. How much trouble is GM in with the Corvette car enthusiasts by making it a mid-engine rig?
I can tell you, I've got a lot of friends now that own them.
Okay.
And every time I see them at a car meet or a parade or whatever the case may be, I check up on them and say, "Hey, what do you think? What do you think? How's it coming along? Any regrets?" No regrets. Everybody's real happy with it. I know a lot of folks that are car enthusiasts but have never been a Corvette enthusiast.
Okay.
And after the mid-engine has came out, they go, "I think I'm going to get me one. I've got to get me one."
Cool.
So, even now I have to go out, and when I'm looking around and I see one, I have to look, at it twice because is that a Ferrari? That's the new Corvette.
Yeah.
So I had a good chance. I had a opportunity to drive one a couple weeks ago. My friend Rick Nelson had just got him a brand new C8 and threw me the keys and said, "Here, go take it for a spin." He wasn't with me in the car. I was okay, don't twist my arm again. Yeah. But no, I took it out for a little joyride. I was driving like the old man. You know, I was being nice and easy with it, but
not my car.
It was, yeah. But it was such an awesome experience. I mean, what I'm going to do now, I think, is I'm going to have to sign up to be the caravan captain in 2024. So my wife was like, "Are you going to take that old car to Bowling Green again?" And
yeah, no
so
kidding.
I can get,
they don't even look like that anymore. The engine's in the back. What are you doing?
Maybe I should just start planning these really long trips like every year,
Yeah.
Honey, do I have to drive this so far? And it's old.
Yeah.
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 So I have lamented many times. So one of the minor side effects of the whole COVID situation is the cancellation of events and car shows that I would have seen my first C8 Corvette at. And there are some here in Tyler. I'm part of some spotting groups in the East Texas area. And I know for a fact some have been spotted around here, but I have yet to actually lay my eyes on one in person. And I've got friends that aren't even interested sending me pictures. What is this? Or drooling over it themselves. And I'm like, I just want to see one.
I'll make you jealous, Corey. I saw a white one on South Broadway last week.
Did you stalk it? I would have stalked it.
No, I didn't stalk it. No.
I would have shifted down and chased him down Broadway. But, yeah.
Well, you guys just need to come to Austin, come to one of my events, and I can assure you will see plenty of them, and can maybe even arrange for you to sit behind the wheel and maybe even go on a little test drive yourself.
Where do we sign up?
You're twisting my arm
That's
again.
Right. That's right.
I don't know what to do here. Yes, we will definitely have to keep in touch on that one.
Absolutely.
That is an opportunity I would not pass up. I know we'll be in Austin this October, but that's not exactly around the time of Corvette Invasion. But we'll keep in touch.
Yeah.
Now, you're coming in October, but if you come again in November, there's a good event coming up in November.
November's a great time in Central Texas.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
yeah, it is. It's cooler than July too.
Absolutely.
Much cooler.
I have recently partnered up with SVRA, which is Sports Car Vintage Racing Association.
Okay.
And they host a big race weekend every year out at the Circuit of the Americas, and have all these old vintage cars go out there and race. It's really cool. It's a really sight to, really cool sight to see. But they have a big car show and things. And then this year they asked me, how would you feel about having your own Corvette corral? And so since your Corvette Invasion got canceled this year, so jumped on that.
Yeah. I
And so now we've got more Corvettes already registered for that corral than they did for their car show last year. We still got, a few months to go. So we're hoping to have 300 to 500 Corvettes out there, and we're going to have our own little parking area. We're going to have our own car show, and then we're going to do parade laps out there for a couple hours too. So
That's awesome.
And that's going to be the first weekend in November, I believe, November 6th.
Wow.
Awesome.
That's my anniversary weekend. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
You'll be in Broken Bow or somewhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's awesome. Just the things that happen when you have the ingredients of an American icon and just the passion of the owner group behind it.
Definitely.
It's crazy. I definitely want to take you up on an offer to witness it for myself.
What's it like putting an event like that together? I mean, because like we've been working on a car show that we're trying to do here in East Texas.
Car show unlike any other, Matt.
Yes, yeah. And Unlikely Heroes where we shameless plug right here.
Right.
Just the daily driver cars, the cars that wouldn't normally make it into a car show. They're not the super cars or the fancy cars or the classic cars.
They're the ones held together with duct tape and bubble gum and zip ties.
So tell us a little bit about what it takes to put together an event where you've got 300 to 500 cars that are going to be a part of something like that.
Sure. Well, the main thing is getting a good venue. You got to find a good venue that can hold a big crowd of cars. And as you probably know, car show parking is different than just going to the grocery store and parking.
Right.
They're not going to all park single file and, just a few inches apart. They want their space. They want to be able to open their doors and have that space and things like that. So you need a good venue that can hold that kind of car, or that that many cars. It's good to have a good MC, guys like yourself that are good with talking to the people and getting them excited and making those announcements and things like that. You want to go out and you want to get your sponsors and get your T-shirts made up and get your banners and all that going out. Vendors, it's important to have vendors out there so that they can showcase their goods and services, because they will also promote your event as well too.
Okay.
I've always created all my events on Facebook and with my group Sweet Rides of Central Texas with 8,500 members. When I throw out an event out there, I've got that captured audience, so that's always good.
Oh yeah.
Put it out there on social media, as many platforms as you can, not just Facebook, but Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, any of them.
Awesome.
Are you on the TikToks?
Do it.
Are you on the TikToks?
I am not. No, and if I was, you probably wouldn't want to see me dancing on it anyway. So, but do I have an account? Yes. Do I use it? No.
Right.
So, but I think just those social media platforms, getting it out there, and going to a lot of the car meets around your area. Go out there and network with people, because that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
I've met people from, again, all over the world doing these kind of events and car meets and things, and you'd be surprised at people you run into.
That's awesome.
So perfect segue for us to allow you to name drop a little bit, if you feel comfortable. So,
Oh yeah.
give us some examples of some people that you've bumped into or come across in your history of promotions and car shows.
Sure. Well, one gentleman that I have had the opportunity to meet is a gentleman by the name of David Valdez. He's a Corvette guy, of course. You know, those are the people I stalk. And
Naturally.
come to find out, he was a presidential photographer for George H. Bush.
Oh,
Wow.
So, you know, you meet those kind of people and you're like, wow.
Yeah.
And I've been so blessed. He comes out, he photographs a lot of my events and helps me share them on social media. He manages my Instagram account
Awesome.
for the Corvette Invasion. So if you go on our Facebook or Instagram or any of that, you will see a lot of his work. I've met Harrison Funk. Harrison Funk was Michael Jackson's personal photographer.
Wow.
Wow.
I met him at a car meet and ended up, come to find out, he had actually interviewed me a few years back while he was working at a local newspaper here, and they were doing a story on me about one of my other car shows, and I didn't realize when he was interviewing me who he was. And then a few years later, we met through a mutual friend at a car meet, and he told me a story, and I'm just fascinated by that. You know, Satori Pond, another car enthusiast. She was mentioned as Forbes magazine California car queen, and she's had a huge car collection, and she's done some modeling and fashion designer and things like that. So
Awesome.
you can Google Satori Pond. I'm sure you'll see lots of good stuff about her. And then another gentleman that's become a good close friend of mine, Corey Morrow, singer-songwriter.
Okay.
He's also a car enthusiast.
And he spells
He
his
runs
name
a
right
big-
too. That's something I really appreciate about him.
He runs a big car show in San Marcos, Texas, called Go Wheels Up.
Yep.
It's a car show, music festival, and air show.
Wow.
So a few years
Awesome.
back, I met him through a mutual friend, and he was calling me, asking me for some help on his car show. So I'm going to be helping him. We were going to do that this year. Unfortunately, it got canceled, and but hopefully 2021 is going to be a better year for all of us, and I'll be a part of that event as well.
Very cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I have a feeling that all large gathering events next year will be especially huge just because everybody's been cooped up in their houses for the past 6 months.
Oh yeah.
I can do
Yeah.
things again.
Yeah.
I can go places again. Yes. Just the rubber band effect, I guess.
Yeah,
of,
definitely.
snap back completely the opposite direction.
Definitely.
There's a lot of different events. I mean, we focused on the Corvette Invasion because that is obviously my passion. That's the one I'm most passionate about, and is my largest event. But I do have some other events that I would like to mention as well.
Yeah.
Go for it.
I run try to do it quarterly, but a Corvette's on the Square. So we go to different town squares here in Texas and kind of invade their town square with a bunch of Corvettes, and we call it Corvettes on the Square. And we'll do like I said, about once a quarter. We'll do that. I run a monthly Pistons at the Park, which is here in Austin.
Okay.
Actually in Pflugerville, which is a suburb of Austin, but
I love Pflugerville. Every time I pass by a sign, Pflugerville.
Pflugerville. We do a monthly event there called Pistons at the Park, and unfortunately, I've had to cancel that the last couple months, but we're hopefully going to be bringing that back fairly soon. My annual Rockin' Rides, I do that every March. I've partnered up with the local high school here in town,
Okay.
and we call it the Rouse Rockin' Rides. So we'll have, probably 200 or 300 cars that come out for that,
Wow.
all makes and models. And it's last year we even had the Wienermobile out there, so
Nice.
that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I had the Wienermobile actually at my Corvette Invasion too. We made it a pace car, and it looked pretty cool having the the Wienermobile in the track, and then all these Corvettes behind it.
All stacked in there.
They thought it was pretty funny the first lap, and then at the second lap, they're like, "Okay,
get out of the way!
My way. I want to drive a little faster here." So, yeah. I did last year. I did the Corvette Corral for the Le Mans race. I say last year, actually earlier this year, before everything started shutting down.
It feels like a year ago.
Yeah, it does. So yeah, and right now we're because of the COVID, we're doing a lot of these parades around town. You know, from birthdays to people that might be, ill or a veteran that we want to, celebrate, things like that. So we'll get a bunch of our car people out there and we'll drive around and honk and make noise and wave and,
awesome.
Do that for the community because, that's what we do. We try to make a positive difference to the community.
That's awesome. Well, allow me to be the first to officially invite you to Tyler, Texas. So we do an event on the square every second Saturday. My wife is highly involved in that. She's in the tourism industry. And maybe when we log off for the podcast, we can make sure you've got all the details for it in the future. But it would be awesome to have a Corvettes on the square in Tyler, Texas.
Absolutely, yeah.
Sure. Hey, I would be up for that. No doubt.
Yeah, it'd be great to have you on our home turf since you've already invited us to yours.
Definitely.
So,
sure.
And there are a lot of passionate Corvette fans here in the East Texas area. So I'm sure you've come in contact with plenty of them because, like you said, you've got the largest Corvette gathering in the state. So
yeah,
a lot of help with that too.
Yeah,
a lot of great volunteers. Great team.
Very cool.
All right, Shawn. Well, before we dive into the very end of our show, Matt has a segment that this is his brainchild. I love it, but I allow him to introduce it each week, and it is called
I messed it up. Random Misfire. It's rapid fire questions, but it's Random Misfire is the name of the segment. And
okay.
So there's 8 questions because all engines should be powered by 8 cylinders, right?
Now,
so
I'm surprised he says that. He
I
does
know.
say that to the Corvette guy, but he got in trouble for saying that last week.
I got scolded pretty good last week over that one, and called out on my air-cooled Volkswagen Heritage too. So, but I will reiterate.
We're sorry, Bogey.
No, so it'll be 8 questions. Corey and I will ask them, kind of going back and forth as we work down the list. And some of them are yes/no questions. Some of them are either/or questions. Some of them are just your preferred. But it's just a fun little something that we like to end the interviews with. Just a few random misfire questions.
Yes.
So
sure.
Kick us off, Matt.
All right.
This is your deal. So
first one on the list, and I realize you're a Corvette guy, so Fiat Chrysler Group and Ford Motor Company are probably not on the radar much. But if you had the choice, would it be a Wrangler or a Bronco?
Probably Bronco.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh, to go with the blue oval. Oh.
I've been seeing that new Bronco that's coming out, man. I gotta say that's one sexy truck.
Yes, it is.
They do look pretty
That's nice.
sweet, and since they have gone public, the sightings of them have increased exponentially.
It's all over the place.
Granted, we do follow like Bronco 6G forums and all the different forums that are frequently pumping out pictures.
Right.
But they've already been to Moab. They've had to pull a Jeep out.
Mm-hmm.
But I credit that to possibly the driver. and not
you
the
can blame it
vehicle.
on what you want to.
I'm Team Jeep in this situation if you haven't figured it out. But the Bronco, I'm not going to lie, it looks pretty sweet.
Yeah, it
and
does.
I like some of the features they've brought to the table.
You can say it, Corey. You like the Bronco.
All right. Manual versus automatic.
Manual. Probably manual. Yeah. Here's the thing. As I'm getting my old age, I'm lazy. And I like the automatics. We do, as I mentioned, we do a lot of parades. And if you're doing a car parade and you're using a manual, it can be rough.
Yes.
And especially if you're driving a lot of, here in Austin, we have I don't know if y'all know this or not, but we have quite a bit of traffic.
Yes.
So
That darn thing called I-35.
yeah. Mopac, I-35, you name it. But no, if you're, in that heavy congested traffic, obviously automatic's the way to go to. But, you got to love a manual. I mean, just the feel of it and being able to,
So two things on this question. One, totally feel you on that, because when I had my Camaro SS, I took it to a NASCAR race, and it was a Sunday race, so everybody was leaving immediately after. It took 2 hours to get out of the immediate vicinity of the actual Texas Motor Speedway parking complex and everything that surrounds it. And it was at that moment, and I've shared with our podcast listeners before, it was at that moment I said, never again. If I ever go to a race, someone else is driving, and that is the only way. And sure enough, that did come true. But given everything you just said, manual versus automatic, brief, what are your feelings on the fact that the C8 will only ever be a dual clutch automatic?
I don't know. I haven't driven the C8 enough. So, I don't know. See, I told you I'd probably flunk one of these questions. You said they were going to be easy.
That was a bonus question. We can totally cut that one out.
I don't know. I have to look. You can walk that one off. Let's delete that one. I don't know.
Okay. All right. So, more tech or less tech?
More tech or less tech? I like tech. I love the. Okay, I can't believe I'm saying this publicly. I love the Teslas.
Okay.
I love the technology of the Teslas. Now, would I trade my Corvette in for a Tesla? Oh no. But for the daily grocery getter and things like that, I would love to have a Tesla because I love the technology. Even the C8s. Gosh, the technology that's in that C8 is phenomenal. I went from a C5 into a C7, and so the technology there was just huge. So, and I made that jump because of the technology. I could have gone into a C6, but I decided to go with the C7 mainly because of the technology. So, yeah, definitely technology.
All right.
All right. So it's my turn. All right, let's see. What do we want? Favorite car movie?
Favorite car movie?
Making you have to think a little on this one.
There's one that I saw last year that I really enjoyed, the Art of Racing in the Rain. Y'all seen that?
I have not.
We'll add it to our list.
The F1 driver, about the F1 driver and his dog, and I don't want to say too much about the movie because I really think you need to watch it.
Okay.
But I would say that's probably one of my favorite. I like Ford versus Ferrari. That's another good movie. But the Art of Racing in the Rain, I think, would probably be on my top list right now.
Awesome.
I have added it to my watch list.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Favorite road trip snack? So the one thing that anytime you go anywhere more than an hour away, pulling into Buc-ee's. Yeah. The favorite something that you always go to every time you're going on a long trip in the vet.
I would say, well, I don't eat in the Corvette.
Oh.
I did last year when I did the caravan to Bowling Green.
Okay.
I did take some snacks because it was going to be a long drive. I took some M&Ms. I poured them in a little cup.
There you go.
And took them down like that. I had a bad experience with some candy in my car one time.
Uh-oh.
This was a few years back. It was during homecoming, and I had one of the homecoming king nominees riding with me in the Corvette, and we had candy and we were throwing it out and this and that. And poor kid just could not seem to get it out of the car. I don't know. It was falling in the seat and the floorboard and things. and it was a fairly warm day here in Texas, and he had some chocolate candy that he had thrown out.
Uh-oh.
And it fell in the seat, and he had some nice khaki pants on, nice shirt, things, getting ready to dropping him off to go out on the football field and do his thing. And when I looked back, he was getting out of the car, and that chocolate had melted and got all over his khaki pants. And
oh, man.
Poor kid looked like he had just messed himself. But I looked at my seat of my car, and I said, I can't do that again. I don't think I'll be throwing out any more candy.
I don't blame you. My goodness.
Yeah, you always take a risk transporting chocolate in a vehicle in Texas any time of year, but much less in the summer. So, yes. All right, here's a good one. This one, very personal, near and dear to me. Do you name your cars?
I don't. I never.
I don't
have,
hold it
really.
against you.
I mean, my wife named my car that I have now Stickers.
Right.
If that means anything. But no, I have really never named my cars. I know a lot of people that do, but it's not anything I've ever done.
Okay, all right. Do you prefer on-road driving or off-road driving?
On-road.
On-road?
Yeah, because, well, I've never owned a Jeep, not yet. Someday, or a Bronco.
There you go. Yeah.
And once I do that, I'm sure I'll be doing some off-road driving. But
awesome.
No, for me, what really makes the day is when you've got a bunch of awesome cars on the highway and you're cruising to location or something, and you look back in your rearview mirror, you look in front of you, and you just see all these amazing cars. Man, ain't nothing better than that.
That's cool.
So, perfect segue into our last question of Random Misfire. Favorite driving song? So, in that scenario, driving down the highway, you see all those Corvettes. What's playing on the radio?
Oh gosh, I have so many. I'll crank it up just about anything, but I can't drive 55. Sammy Hagar. I mean, you gotta crank it up on that one. Little red Corvette. The list goes on and on. Yeah.
Shawn, we truly appreciate you coming on, shooting the breeze with us, talking about an American icon and your experiences along the way. We can't thank you enough.
Yeah.
It's been my pleasure. Thank you, guys.
Where should people find you on the interwebs if they're looking for a chance to be in or witness the Corvette Invasion or any of the other events and things that you promote and do?
Well, I have several websites, but one of the main websites I have is sweetridesofTexas.com. So if they're not a Corvette enthusiast or they just love cars, they can go on that website. There's a little box down at the bottom that they can click on and send me an email. And if they are a Corvette enthusiast and they want to know more about Corvette events or Corvette Invasion, they can go on to CorvetteInvasion.com and check me out there. So
cool.
Usually all my car shows, whether it's Pistons at the Park, it's Rockin' Rides, all those different events, I do create a separate website for each one.
Okay.
But I would say SweetRidesOfTexas.com would really be the best one.
And we'll put those links in the show notes for anyone listening that just don't want to go through the effort of typing all that in. We'll put the link in the show notes for making that easy. But Shawn, I cannot say it enough. We've had a great time talking to you. It's been incredible having you on with us, and we look forward to keeping in touch with you and building a relationship moving forward as we both venture into this world of all things automotive.
That's it.
So, thank you.
Been my pleasure, and I hope you guys have a great car show yourselves. That's coming up when?
That's October 24th.
All right.
So.
Sounds good.
We cannot thank Shawn enough for taking time to chat with us about Corvettes, car shows, and his experience since buying his first Corvette. You can find out more about Shawn and what he's doing by heading over to SweetRidesOfTexas.com and CorvetteInvasion.com. You can find out more about Garage Talk, including our first car show.
Our first car show.
Yes, ours. We are putting together a car show this October for the vehicles that wouldn't normally make it into a car show.
Yeah.
The ones that have seen a mile or two or 200,000.
Thereabouts.
Yeah.
You know,
Maybe held together by duct tape, zip ties, something
baling
like
wire.
that. You know,
All the goodies.
chewing gum. I don't know. But we truly are excited about our car show coming up this October. You can find out more about that on our website, gtgaragetalk.com. It is the Unlikely Heroes Car Show, October 24th, 2020. You can also find out more about us, what we're into, by hitting us up on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, all at GT Garage Talk. Or, like I said, finding our website and getting all the latest car news and information from us. But until next time, bye. Hey Gearheads, Corey here. And if you liked that interview and would like to hear more, even a blooper or two from our recording, head over to patreon.com/GTGarageTalk. Sign up for our 1LT Camaro tier, and you will be granted early access to unedited episodes. You will get to hear everything that goes into Matt and I making a recording of Garage Talk, as well as some bonus content from our guest. If that's not enough, browse through our many other tiers and see what perks come with each level. We appreciate all of you, and we thank you for listening.